Welcome everyone to the another episode. Today we have Esther Avant all the way from US. So she is an experienced in health and wellness industry over 20 years. So Esther has guided countless individuals toward achieving their goals both in health and wellness. So as a health and industry veteran, author, speaker and a coach, she has helped people apply the same proven strategies used in wealth loss to propel their career and level up their lives. So Esther is a co-founder of the Made by Me coaching, the host of the To Your Health podcast, and author of the best-selling book Your Health, a lifestyle of health, happiness, and confidence. So in this episode, we're going to learn more about Esther's journey as well as how she helped her clients going through their transformational journey in their health and wellness and what they do right and do wrong. So we're going to cover all this up and for you to take some notes. So if you want to level up your health journey in 2025. So we're going to touch base on that. So without further ado, let's welcome Esther to the show. And Esther, welcome to the show. And how are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I've had a busy morning and I'm excited to take a little break and chat with you.
Yeah. So you just starting out and I'm finishing up after your call. So yeah, two parts of the world. I think I was supposed to talk to someone in Australia and he giving
Oh,
me
wow.
some time. It was a 1 a.m. for me in the UK time, and for him it was like 11 a.m. I was like, this is
Uh-huh.
crazy amount. Like, we have to go through the some kind of when you wanna talk to people from different parts of the world or working with
Yeah,
them or like coaching them. Sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes it's a blessing because the distance like a shortened because of the internet and things like that. I really appreciate it. And your time, like early morning, you're taking the time out for me and my audience and coming to sharing your expertise on the show. So I appreciate that. So yeah, walk us through about the journey you have created so far being an author, coach, speaker, also you're a podcaster. Like how did you started your journey into the fitness industry? Like is the through you working on yourself first and then you started to see like, hey, I can help other people, or is it completely opposite? Sometimes people just to choose their career then work on the fitness. I see some people on my gym like they are not the fitness guru, you can tell by looking at them, but they have like a PT certification and everything, then they are losing their weight and getting to the shape. So how's your journey began?
that's a great question. In high school, late high school, I discovered the gym. I was never very athletic, but I liked being active. I loved that the gym was something I could do to challenge myself that didn't involve spectators or a team that I could let down.
Yeah.
So I just really felt good in the gym. I felt good about the results that I was getting. That's what led to me picking my college major, which was exercise science. I got certified as a trainer during my freshman year, started working at the college gym. My first job out of college was at a commercial gym, personal training, got into management from there. My whole career has just sort of evolved as things have unfolded. It was working with my first in-person clients that I realized I needed to be better educated about nutrition
Mm.
because just a couple workouts a week is not enough to make drastic lifestyle and health changes. So that's when I started getting certified in nutrition coaching, sports nutrition, et cetera. And all the while, in my early 20s, I moved a couple of times. I was struggling myself, even though I had all of this textbook knowledge. And
Yeah.
that's what led me to the kind of an obsession with human behavior and understanding why we do what we do, why it's so hard to follow through on
Mm.
the things that we say we want, why the just knowing the science isn't enough.
Yeah.
So that education helped me help myself and then realize that I could really help other people with it, not in the sense of like, here's what I did, do the same thing, but more so, here's how I can help you better understand yourself. And from there, the actual exercise and nutrition stuff will come much more easily. So over time, I met my husband. He's in the military. We move a lot. That's when I took my business online and started working with clients from all over the country and the world. That's when I started the podcast, and a couple of years ago wrote a book that really it's more of like a user's guide. It will take you from struggling and feeling like I've tried everything and nothing works to developing the commitment, the confidence, and the consistency to reach your health and weight loss goals. And that's kind of been my career in a nutshell. Now I'm branching into leading workshops, keynote speaking, things like that to try to have a bigger impact and help people not just improve their health, but recognize that doing so is going to
Yeah.
benefit every other area of their lives.
Yeah, it's great. So obviously the background that you mentioned, like it's just quite relatable for the people in the fitness industry, but not as like a normal person. So we try to like get into the shape, and obviously we have like a newer resolution, and we have planned out everything. We're gonna get the six pack or get the beach body for like for the summer, and we start off at the beginning of the year. By February, March time, like half of the gyms get emptied, and like a consistency is not there. We try to like stay eating healthy for a month or something, then after that it just like completely goes out the window. So what do you think, like when people are making them kind of goals of like at the beginning of the year or any time of the year, like they say like today is my last day, this is my last junk food or like unhealthy meals, or like not going to the gym, from tomorrow I'm starting out, and they go do start out, and after a week or two like they go back to like where they started, and the motivation gone because they got distracted with the family matters, could be like a job stressing them out, or some kind of trips they go and went to, or some kind of like you've been to a restaurant or something and just gone back to the zero. So when you help your clients, or like you stick to your plan, like the diet you're in or the routine you're in for the exercises, how do you create such a routine like where people don't fall off and just continuously see the results they're looking for, and also stay to the consistent basis, uh, s- than the track, like I would say.
That's a great question. And I'd imagine everyone listening is nodding along vigorously like I was. That's exactly what happens to people.
Yeah.
And there are three main mistakes that I see people making when they undertake a new goal. First and foremost, they try to do not just too much, but they also try to do a lot of things that don't really matter that much. So they go after this drastic overhaul when the reality is there's a handful of key behaviors that generate the majority of results. And it's just about improving those areas a little bit and doing that over an extended period of time that
Mm.
allows you to still eat like a normal person, eat things that you're enjoying, not be spending every waking moment either in the gym or miserably sore from the gym. So I call those the big rocks. By focusing on just those and just letting go of all the other distractions, you don't feel as overwhelmed. It doesn't feel as all consuming, and you automatically feel like it's more sustainable. And then the results that follow are then going to be something that you can maintain because you're not already counting down to when you can stop doing these things. The second mistake I see people making is not enlisting support around themselves. We tend to have these pretty kind of independent, I should be able to do this myself. I don't need anybody's help. I'll feel weak or insecure if I express that I'm having a hard time on my own. But the reality of it is asking for help is a sign of strength and confidence to say, I will be better off if I have people around me who want to see me succeed and are going to help me do that. So whether that's a personal trainer, a registered dietitian, a therapist in some cases, whether it's just going to a gym where you have to sign up for a class and people are going to notice if you're not there. It's a friend at work who will also pack a lunch and help you stick to your goal of not ordering in. It's
Yeah.
your spouse or your kids, and asking specifically for what you need and explaining why it's important to you, what they can do to help. You're capable of doing it by yourself, but it'll be faster, easier, and more enjoyable if you don't. And then the third mistake that I see people making is really kind of the biggest and the most important to rectify is we tend to be really, really hard on ourselves. We expect perfection. And when we fall short of that, which obviously we're going to,
Yeah.
the pendulum swings the other way and we kind of start wallowing in self-pity and, well, if I can't do it all perfectly, I might as well not bother at all. And that's why we have these starts and stops where we'll go from one extreme to the other. So the solution to that is what I refer to as compassionate ownership.
Hmm.
Those two pieces being treating yourself with the same compassion you would give another human being, understanding that you're going to make mistakes. It's part of the process and it's not a big deal. and also to take responsibility to learn from those mistakes
Yeah.
and to change your approach going forward so that you're not beating your head against a wall saying, why does this keep happening? You're taking responsibility for that. And what I think is so important is that these three mistakes and therefore these three solutions aren't just unique to health. They can apply to your career goals. They can apply to your personal goals. And when you know kind of that framework, it's just a matter of applying it to each area of your life, each pursuit,
Mhm.
and realizing that as long as you stay consistent, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. I totally agree on that. And obviously, I think it's been a couple of years now. I've been really, really consistent with going to the gym and like eating healthy and staying on that track. Before that, used to be really hard, and I just used to fall off that track. And prior to that, like when I was 17, 18 years old, that was so much easier at that time. Like I knew my purpose, I knew my goal. I was in a college, and like when you're like a young person, you want to be look good and you want to be top of it. And when I started to work, like running my business in and everything just taking over my life when age 25, 27, just like everything was in imbalance. Like I put on my weight like over like 96 kilogram compared to I was about 70, 68 all my life. And then I had to have my reality check, like what can I do? And before that, every time I get my membership for the gym, I pay for the whole year membership, and I probably go there about 6, 7 times a year. And but last time, like before I being consistent, like a couple of years ago, what I did instead of like get the gym membership, my wife told me like, what's the point like you getting a membership because you're not gonna go for whole year, probably gonna go 1 or 2 times. And I just like, yeah, makes sense. So I went to my brother-in-law and got his like couple of dumbbells and a barbell and at home. And I thought like, what can I exercise I can do at home for 20 minutes? My goal is 20 minutes 4 times a week, and see if I can be consistent with that. Then I'm gonna get the membership. And I started off. I couldn't stick for 4 days. I stuck around for 2 days, and I did that for like 3 months. And after that, then I goes, I need to increase that. Like I go for about 4 or 5 days a week. I did that for a month, and then I got the membership. I was like, now I'm consistent. Now my body wants that kind of exercise and the hard work, things like that, and it just like automatically happen. And the more I'm going to see other people are they on a best shape, like they have more stamina, they're lifting more, and that gives me like a more of like that dopamine hit, like hey, you need to be like at that kind of level, like hey, you cannot be just waiting like a lightweight, so you have to eat right. So I'm focusing on eating right, healthy meals, which is good, which is gonna build my strength. And from there on, like continuously moving forward. Right now, like when something is too sweet, I cannot even handle it. I don't crave it that much. I don't like to eat outside, even though eating outside is just be like mostly meat, kebabs and steaks. It's not like a junk food like you crave for burgers or fried food and things like that. So main thing, like what I did, like a plan was make it as simple as possible, as also like a more accessible as possible. But if it's the gym is like 3 miles away, and in the cold winter morning you have to drive down, defrost your car, and then you're gonna put your clothes on in this cold, there needs a bigger motivation to that. And right now it's being consistent with it, like a Monday to Friday I have to drop off my kids to the school, and from there it's like a 1 mile away drive to get to the gym. So I know like if I'm waking up to drop him off, then I'm going to go to the gym there rather than coming back to home. So you have to see like which works better. And I think like one of the book Atomic Habits, it talks about this kind of things, like if you want to create a good habits about healthy eating or like reading a book, so everything needs to be accessible. And put this away, those going to distract you, could be a TV remote, or could be like a junk food. If you lay around on your sofa, probably going to have like a couple of bites, and from there on you're going to finish the whole packet. And we go through the process, isn't it? So how important is for like taking the small steps rather than having the big giant goals, create a habits, and then you go and have the big ambition, like going to the six pack, or you have been bodybuilding competition, rather than just at the beginning you have a giant goal, I want to be a bodybuilder, who never like lifted a weight or never been to the gym, right?
Yeah, you nailed it. And those are such excellent examples of what small steps look like and how powerful they can be once you get some momentum going.
Yeah.
Because one of the big problems with setting these really lofty goals is that if we, time after time, set goals that we then give up on or fall short of, Over time, that erodes our self-trust. We come to feel like it really matter what I say because I'm not going to do it anyway.
Mhm.
And if you think about any other relationship in your life, if your friend was like that or if your partner was like that, there'd be a big issue. You'd be like, I can't trust this person to pick me up at the airport when they tell me they're going to. I can't trust them to, do the things that I'm relying on them to do. We wouldn't want to have a relationship with that person. But that's the position we find ourselves in with ourselves. So the solution to that is to set smaller goals that sometimes feel like they're so small it's hardly worth doing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the flip side of that coin is if it's so small, then it's no skin off your back to just do it. And what happens is you get a little momentum going. You experience how good it feels to follow through and to do what you said you would do. And
Mhm.
then once you get into that habit of doing, 20 minutes a few days a week, you start to reap the benefits. You start to feel the improvements in your lifestyle. You start to want to do more instead of jump right away to, an hour and a half, 7 days a week, that sort of thing. So it builds your confidence, it builds momentum, and ultimately, it's very kind of classic tortoise and hare, where you can go out really hot, like you have done in the past, and try to change all the things at once and kind of take your end goal and try to get there immediately. Or you can say, I know from experience that doesn't work. I have nothing to lose by trying to do this differently because the goal is not to reach, whatever uh, benchmark or milestone very briefly and then revert back to the way I was. The goal is to reach it and either maintain it or then improve from there. So you're so much better off taking kind of the quote unquote slow approach because in the long run, it's faster because you'll be able to maintain what you've been working toward.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so with working with like a lot of individual like yourself, and what is the number one lesson you say like you have learned when it comes down to health and fitness?
I'd say the number one lesson is that you do not need a drastic overhaul to your lifestyle. And even if you feel like there are a lot of things that you want to change, you have what it is to make those changes, but you don't want to do them all at once. The difference between kind of spinning your wheels and staying stuck where you are and seeing progress is just very gradually turning up kind of your effort and your intentionality dials when it comes to your exercise and your nutrition. I was just talking with a client earlier today who's been tracking her food and she was feeling frustrated that wasn't seeing much change scale. And we start diving into the data and seeing that she would track a week here, take a few days off, a few days there, take a week off. The data that she was collecting and feeling like I'm doing everything, I'm tracking my food, this is what I'm supposed to do, was really, kind of half-assed.
Mm.
So it's not that the approach doesn't work. It's not that she's doing anything wrong. It's that she needs to be more intentional and more dialed in with what we're already doing. And as we were talking, she was realizing, yeah, I do like I'll log what I eat in the morning and then I just kind of lose track of time and I don't pay as much attention in the evenings. The
Yeah.
difference between you seeing results and you staying where you are is pretty small. And it's just a matter of identifying the areas that you've been a little bit lax, turning those up, and then maintaining that level of, I think the threshold is about 85% of the time you're doing the things. And then just maintaining above that threshold for long enough that you see it working. And then kind of the machine kicks in and you're like, all right, what I'm doing is working and it feels doable. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I have one last question, Esther, before we wrap up here. If you want to give like a one advice to our listeners in health and wellness, what that would be?
Great question. Take action on something that either we talked about today or that has been on your mind. People always say, I don't know what to do. You do. Every single person I talk to has some idea of some habit they're in or not in that isn't serving them. So it's amazing to consume content like this and kind of infuse your brain with talking about health. But more important than anything is that you implement the things that you're learning and you just be willing to experiment. So my challenge for you would be to take something that you can do today or tomorrow that will kind of get the ball rolling. And that could be kind of the catalyst for a lot of positive change in your life.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for your time today. And so, if anyone wants to learn more about yourself or they want to find out about your work or your book, where's the best place to find you?
You can find all of that stuff on my website, estheravant.com. Search To Your Health wherever you do podcasts and To Your Health wherever you buy books.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much for your time, Esther, coming to the show and sharing a valuable lesson with our audience. So, I wish you very best of luck with everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's my pleasure. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode with Esther Avant. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. So if anyone wants to learn more about her, you can find it on her social media channels, also on her website. Also, you can check her podcast out. I'm going to put the link on the description for you to get everything. So until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. So take care.